Hello everyone, Onerous here with another episode of My First Megabase. Alright, this is episode 2, and as I said in episode 1, this playthrough we'll be doing a lot of work off camera, some of the mundane stuff that doesn't make for great viewing. So, since last episode, as you can see, I've put in half a smelting stack. So here I've got 24 stone furnaces, so half a smelting stack, which creates half a yellow belt worth of iron plate. Same for copper plate. To balance that out, I've got 15 miners on both copper and iron. Again, need 30 for a full belt, but we're just doing half a belt. And also to balance all that out, I have increased our power with another 2 boilers and 4 steam engines. Alright, so today's episode, I want to do 2 things. I want to start some green circuit work, which reminds me I will need some assemblers. So I want to start a little bit of green circuit assembly, and while I was doing the research as well, our steel was researched. I can't actually remember how to see it. There we go. Yeah, so steel processing was researched while I was doing all this. So the other thing I want to do is set up some steel, a steel smelting stack. And now the thing with steel, which we'll just go through quickly, is it actually requires sort of two things. So 2 rows of stone furnaces, because you need 1 row to be making iron plate, and then that feeds into the stone furnace that makes the steel. So the other thing to note is it takes 5 iron plate to create 1 steel plate. And although the timing, see 3.2 and 16 seconds, the time works out that you can actually make 5 plates in the time that it goes into 1 steel plate. So it is directly feeding in, but it means you only get a fifth of the output of what you put in. So 1 full belt of iron plate coming in is a fifth of a belt of steel. But that's all right. We don't need as much steel certainly as iron plate. So what I'm going to do is something a bit sneaky here and just copy that and paste that there, and that will actually be what we need for our steel smelting stack. So as you can see, it's significantly wider. Now I'm going to cut that, and we'll pop it a little bit closer and kind of line it up a bit better. There we go. So we'll probably want 2 of those. So let's pop those down there. Again, they will also need this arrangement going on. However, the middle of their sort of area is okay. Oh well, we are gonna build some of that today. So let's put that in anyway. Oops, wrong way, guys. Yes, so that's actually where it needs to be, and we end up with significantly more of this kind of stuff. There we go. All right. I was going 2 in, wasn't I? Alright. So you'll go there, and there to there. Alright. And then likewise, this one will do the same. And we'll just set this up so we know what's happening. Alright. Now, that's probably actually all that we are. That's because that one should be like that. Alright, that's probably all we're going to set up for this mini base. I think that will be enough to create most of the things that we want to create. So I'm not going to go any further with that. But before we start the steel processing, actually let's set up steel processing first. Alright. So I'm going to need some more miners, and we'll need some of our electric circuits. Let's grab a whole stack of those, nice. And we'll grab some more belts while we're here, restock this chest. Now, one thing to note, we've built these smelting stacks. As you can see, I've got quite a bit of a belt running out here. It's tempting just to run along the belt and hold down F to pick stuff up, but it's actually more efficient to just grab from these stacks, especially these ones at the end, fill up really quickly. So they've got like stacks of 100. As you can see, we've got a whole heap of iron just really quickly. So I can just run up here and go control, drag over, and bam, look at all that copper. Alright, that's just a small efficiency, so we'll throw some more in here. We'll keep making heaps of that. Oh, didn't even realise what we just researched. Electronics, that's right. So we wanted to get to our electric distribution for better poles, but first actually, we don't have green science yet, of course. First we'll do our pickaxe for faster mining speed, hand mining. We'll get fast inserters. Actually, before all that, I think it's time we did a bit of military research. Like I said, remember we started this with a greater starting area, so the biters are further away. But we are starting to spread a fair bit of pollution. So with that in mind, we will also create just a little bit of ammunition here. Alright, let's turn a lot of these stacks into ammunition. So that will allow us then to make some turrets when we obviously get turrets, and we can then start some defenses. Alright, so we wanted to make some miners. We will go with another half a belt, so we need 15. There we go. And honestly, we can probably rip these guys up now. They're not really doing anything for us anymore now that we've got those stacks going. We just don't need them, and that will give us a little bit of space, more space for some miners. All right, so let's get maybe just 10. So a third of what we need. So that gives us a third of a belt of iron, but remember that ratio of 1/5 means that's only a 15th of a belt of actual steel, and I just realized I put them too far away from the previous row. These little things, it doesn't seem like it really makes much difference, but getting more miners on a patch can be the difference between getting sort of a full belt out of a patch or not a full belt. Where can we get to? There we go. Alright. So these guys I will want to sort of reserve for our steel. Now that's in a really awkward position, isn't it? Alright. We'll figure something out. Problem for future, but sadly not that far in the future. Alright. But this will allow us to kick off our steel production, which we won't need much, but just want to have it available for when we actually start doing our all the things. And just hooking this up to the coal. We are out of splitters. Let's grab a stack of those. Alright, and then so turrets and military. Yes, heavy armor would be nice. Then we might get some shooting speeds. Alright, so that will get coal down to this slot. We've got iron coming in. We've got 22 of these. So that's 8, 16. Alright. what do you say? We had 10 miners, which is a third of a belt. A third of 24 is 8. So we actually want to have another. Yes, we want to have another these 4. So we need another 32 furnaces. How much stone do we have? Not enough. Alright. Let's just remedy that. We've got not many inserters. Seem to be carrying a lot of iron ore after that rejigging. And of course we've got a heap of coal. We have so much coal. Just clear out our inventory a little bit. There we go. Okay. So what did I say? We needed 32 furnaces. So let's go. Of course, now that I got rid of all my coal, those guys need coal. Luckily, we still have that little coal guy going. There you go. All right. So a stone furnace. How many does a stone furnace take? 5 stone. So that is 10, 20, 30. All right. There we go. Let's make them all up. And we might as well grab another stack of those. Our power pole situation is getting pretty dire. Again, that is the reason why we will need steel, is we'll want to start making medium power poles. In the meanwhile, let's see if we can find any more little lone trees. Nighttime does not help. Oh, here we go. We found a little bit of a forest. Excellent. This is what we need. Alright. So with our power poles, we can then get our mining going, which is great. Our steel smelting. And we'll also obviously need these to start building our green circuits. Alright, so how many poles is that? 48, that's great. We'll need a lot more assembly machines. Just queue those up. That's kind of everything we'll need here. Pair packs, not so much. We probably should build a few lights while our queue is empty. Okay, now here we have that's missing. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that is where we need to get to. Unfortunately, this rock here is in our way. There we go. So that should be, oh, that is more than half a stack, isn't it? We are 4 too many. And I will put those back in. There we go, alright. So we will need to get the ore up to there. And an output. Don't need you. Alright, we're out of belts, that's alright. So let's get all these in. Not the most exciting. So this is basically what I was doing off camera, was with the other stacks. I thought I'd leave the steel till on camera, just so that we could see sort of what went into a steel stack. And as we go around, we'll have to fix up the poles as well, I think. Alright, let us get some power poles in. And we will need these ones, and sadly we'll need these ones too. It's going to be quite expensive with the power poles. And there. There we go. Now, can we hook this up to power over yonder? And we can. Alright. So there we have some steel going. Now, the next thing we want to do is green circuits. To get to our green circuits, we're going to start thinking about our bus. So I've laid out just a little bit of a a rough idea here, I want to have these sort of 6 lanes on our little bus for the jump starter base. We're going to have 4 of iron, 4 lanes of copper, 2 of which will essentially by the end be going only into green circuits. So that's our 2 stacks here. We'll want to expand that up. We might have to move that around, but this is also not going to be enough copper for that. Now we'll also want, so then 4 lanes of iron, copper. We'll have 4 lanes of circuits, so 2 green, a red and a blue. Then some of our periphery stuff like plastics, stone, coal, steel, and some fluids. And then a miscellaneous if we need to run stuff around. So let's go and grab some more belt, because I want to start green circuits down further. Want to make sure we've got enough space for our jumpstart base. How much belt have we got here? 300? Bad. Let's give you a bit of that. Let's give you a bit of that. That does not require copper, but you certainly do. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. And how are you looking? You're pretty good, and you are just about out. All right. Let's grab some more iron and get that ammo really going while we're just sort of sitting here doing nothing. Again, got to watch out. If you've watched my my playthrough of the beginner base, you will remember our issues with dividers that I was very unprepared for. Alright, so here is our first line of our bus, and that is the iron. So copper we want to bring to about there. There is our heavy armor. Alright, so that is our defenses. We can start building defenses. I'm going to research steel axe, and we might just grab some stuff to handcraft a few turrets. All we need is copper and iron, so let's get 20 of those going while we're sort of mucking around here. Getting our green circuits up and running. Okay. So there we have our copper and our iron. So over here, and we want to wait. We're going to figure out where the edge of this bus is. Let's mark it down here with some silhouettes. Okay, so over yonder, we will want to start building our green circuits. Now, green circuits take 1 iron plate and 3 copper cable every half a second. Copper cable is produced 2 copper cable every half a second. So the common ratio that you'll find is, let's just sort of get some nice spacing away from the bus. Okay, there we go. We'll go 4 away. All right. So the common ratio you'll find is this 3 copper cable assembly machines to 2 green circuits, and then this middle one has 2 outputs that go both ways, and then the copper cable because it requires a copper plate every half a second. These can't actually do that that fast, so we'll just fill those up. All right. And then what we also need is iron plate. So this will be copper plate coming in the top. We'll have iron plate coming down here, and then we'll also need to craft a few of these. So let's bump them up in the queue. And we will need iron coming in, and then once we get these red inserters, we'll put them coming out like that, and then we'll have an output. And that will be our green circuits. And then we'll do something similar on the other side, obviously, but this will be a inbound. We probably won't build this straight away because we won't have the infrastructure or the sort of the input of copper and iron to support it. But this way we'll at least have the space for it in the future. All right. Obviously we've got to flip these ones around. Okay. Now, can we do this with our wooden poles? That is the question. We may need to ditch some of these, which is a bit of a shame. We'll see how that keeps up. Alright. So, how many undergrounds do we have? Pretty much none. Let's get a stack of those. And we are going to do... for now... This is really the only use, isn't it? And we'll save the undergrounds and just do something a little bit dodgy. Alright. Obviously we don't want these to cross the bus. We'll fix that up. We'll fix that up later. But for now, when we're just starting out and we don't have a whole heap of resources, speaking of which, we'll have to get some more belts. Yes, because we don't have a whole lot of resources, we'll save that. The reason we don't have belts is because I used a whole stack of them to build the undergrounds, which is quite inconvenient, isn't it? But there's another 250. Grab us those green circuits while we're here. Alright, our handcrafting queue can definitely have a submachine gun in it. There we go. Alright, so we will now have all our goodies coming in. We just need to get power to it. So let's run that over here. Alright, so here's where we probably do want to make sure we have the right spacing. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and a hit. And that is actually the blue squares are touching, so that's actually not what we want. We want 2 spaces away because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and then that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Is that right? No, that's not right either. What have we got wrong here? 1, 2, 3, 4 and then a gap. And then there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 1, 2, 3. Something's not right here. Let's just see what we're doing wrong. If we wanted one there, oh, I can see what's wrong with that. We have not left enough space on this one. All right, we can work around with that. Not ideal, that's for sure. But it just means that our spacing off here isn't perfect. But hey, 4 and 1. There we go. That should now line up. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, perfect. All right. Now where's the closest power? It is over here. Let's just run it in here. Why was there no power pole there? Alright, there we go. Okay, so our green circuits are now hooked up. And we want to bring green circuits down on our circuit line, which will be this one. Don't worry about that. I'm sure the robots will freak out when we get to that. So that's the output line for green circuits. Alright. So we have green circuits automated. We have steel being produced. And we are starting to get a little bit of stuffs. No, that wasn't 4. What are you doing? There we go, alright. So now we have green circuits. Oh my goodness, I forgot about feeding power to our steel furnaces, didn't I? Feeding coal. Okay, so what can we do with that? We could just... what I needed was another coal line coming in the middle here. Alright, so let's think about what we can do. We can do something like that is not going to work. Well, we need the big poles, don't we? All right. What we'll do is just do half the belt on one side. That's what we're going to do. All right. I knew I was forgetting something when I said it was too easy just copying and pasting all those things together. And when I said the power poles coming in, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with that. All right, but easy fix. All right, let's get rid of all this. But we need to keep those power poles there. Actually, those power poles are going to be in the wrong position anyway. You power poles have to disappear. Alright, so let's make this out to here. And what has happened here? Alright. We're losing the plot. So now that is all our iron ore. That is our steel. We'll get rid of all that. You're all gone. This is also not required. We will keep that there for now. And what I'm going to do is alright, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do that, and then these will output, and these will input. Oops. Now what I need to do, because I've stuffed that up, is go settings, interface, and show inserter arrows on alt mode. Then resume it, and here we go. Right, should have 2 going each way. There we go. So as you can see, we need to get rid of these poles. I'm just going to kill the power to our green circuits. And then fill in these guys. Alright, alternating, and let's get some power running down here. Alright. Whew, man. Tough work. We are out of inserters. Well, at least we've got some steel happening now. It's slow but sure. Let's grab some more inserters. How much belt have we got? Grab some more belt. Probably don't have much iron in there. Let's get some of that back, thank you. Alright, how's our ammo going? A couple of stacks. What do we got here? We have 270, that's great. I am going to pop that in there. We should never get to a situation where we need to use the pistol over the SMG. Alright, let's Q. There we go. Alright. And we are back in business. Now, the downside to this is it's actually not going to work once we to put another on the other side, because these always output on the far side, so any output would be happening on the other way around. So we could have another belt doing the same thing, set up sort of with the coal coming in on the other side. But here, importantly, we want to output priority right is steel only. Alright, so now when we hook this up, and like so, we are going with steel. Alright, and so steel can be excellent processing. Let's get some fast inserters. Steel can be coming in on this guy right here. Alright, so this is where we start to need to fix up some of these. That is definitely not what we want. Alright, so we have steel, green circuits, copper and iron plate. And those are all the things that we will need to start making a little bit of a sort of, I wouldn't call a mall, but to start creating the things we will need to be building the stuffs, the things. So if we look at what we need belts. These things need iron, and green circuits. Inserters are green circuits and iron. Pipes will want to make some iron, copper, green circuits. We want to be making mining drills, which is iron plate and green circuits, and so on and so forth. Basically, everything we want to be creating now uses these four. We'll want to add to that at some point probably some stone, coal, and some stone bricks. But those things are for some features further down the road. But next episode, what we'll be doing is making that little bus. And just while I look at it, something's gone wrong with the power here. All right. We just didn't put these poles in, that's why. There we go. Alright, so that's... you didn't get one of these. There we go. So there we have it. That's our steel we did today and our green circuits. And like I said, tomorrow we will get the base up and running with... just checking power. Yeah, we'll get our base up and running with the mini mall and probably start green science. And we are well on our way to this jumpstart base that we need to get to our mega base. So look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And look, if you've got any comments for me, any tips how I could improve this little jumpstart base a bit more efficiently, then certainly let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.